I don't want to be strong like men who look pretty. I want to be strong like bitch that fight bears in the forest.
But you're the purple.
Oh, I'm starting. Okay.
I say we leave this in. Don't edit this out. It's like last week when you introduced yourself as Shelby.
I did do that. At least my microphone's on this week.
That is true.
We're good. We're making progress. Okay, here we go. Episode 4. Goodness. We are talking about stress and the holidays this week. We all know that the holidays are the most wonderful time of the year. There's food, family, presents, a break from work, hopefully. But they can also be the worst. Our weather's, I was going to say heading south, but it's not really heading south because that would have been nice. Heading north, I guess.
Yes, it's the opposite when we talk about weather. It's the opposite, yes.
We've got gray skies. It's cold. There's more darkness. Our notes say fridge temperatures. Did you mean fridge or frigid?
I think I meant frigid.
I like fridge. They're fridge temperatures.
I mean, the fridge is also cold.
It's true. Anyways, not great temperature, not great daylight.
That's how I'm going to refer to things now. Fridge temperature or freezer temperature. They're different.
They are, and they're both applicable. Okay. Let's see. What else is happening? Soul-crushing travel and travel delays and snafus. We have talked about that and how shitty that is. And overeating. We're going to talk about that too. And the overeating can turn your blood sugar into a roller coaster, which can just send you for a whole ride. And then there's family, of course. I think that's a topic we've touched on it, but we haven't really delved into it too much. Yeah. So those are the things we're dealing with.
Yeah, that's a lot of things, and why this time of year can be incredibly stressful. So I feel like everyone deals with something during the holidays, and this year we really want to help you avoid the overloaded feeling of stress. So to give you some tools and some knowledge to be proactive instead of reactive, we want you to own the holidays, not just get through them. So we're going to talk about some of the common holiday stressors. This isn't going to be all of them, of course.
Yeah.
And stressors can be unique to you. But this is like our take on the most common ones and how to approach them and how to avoid kind of what I like to call the holiday landmines. So like you're not stepping in it, if you know what I mean.
I think we do.
Yeah.
And we are marked as explicit, so we can say it.
Oh, great. So you're not stepping in shit in the holidays. You know what I mean? All that holiday crud that's out there, and you get caught up in it. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah.
This is an adult show, BT dubs. Okay, so our first landmine is one that we did touch on a little bit last week.
Yeah, a little bit.
So holiday overeating. So last week we talked about just food in general. So especially during this time of year, it's cold, it's dark, we want to hibernate and be cozy. We are, okay, maybe it's just me. I don't know. You're looking at me very skeptically.
No, I was thinking like you're like, as you're describing it, I was like, Amber's mac and cheese, love of mac and cheese is going to come up in this conversation.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
It's so good because it's the epitome of that calorie dense food that we're all trained to look for. It's, okay, maybe it's just me. It's fine. So yeah, so we're looking for those comfort foods.
What, you don't want a kale salad in the middle of winter, Amber?
I mean, maybe for like lunch, if it's really warm in my apartment. Yeah, so we're looking for those foods, which can lead to overeating, which feels like such a tradition around holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas that we may not even notice it's happening.
I know so many people, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I see it a lot on like Instagram, and I think we touched on Instagram not being reality, but people almost like taking pride in the fact that they feel so overly full on Thanksgiving. They're like, oh, here's me laying on the couch after eating an entire butterball.
Oh God.
Those kinds of things. So like, I think for some, it's become this like source of pride, which is so weird, but also maybe kind of goes back to, if we think about it, like our, roots as like peasants or whatever of just like, look how full I can get. I finally have enough food.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. So yeah. So this makes me think of, and I think I was talking to my mom about this when I was visiting her. It makes me think of Iliza Schlesinger's.
Don't ask me. I can't say it.
I can't say it either. And I love her. So
don't forget to tag her in this.
I know,
That'd
right?
Be great.
Hashtag Iliza, we love you.
Yes.
Hashtag Iliza, follow us.
Hashtag elder millennials.
We love you. So her latest Netflix special, she talks about the thickening.
Oh, yes.
Right? And I love it because it's so appropriate. So the thickening is when you eat that like 1 or 2 bites too many and you feel your pants getting tighter, your stomach expanding, the button popping. And I love that because it's such a feeling and we've all been there. So I think one of the keys for this is to be aware of that moment, right? Of when you're like, ooh, I am full and I should just stop.
Don't take the extra bite of mashed potatoes.
Right?
Don't enter the thickening.
Don't enter the thickening. It's not a place anyone wants to be. So like I've recognized in myself because I am a very fast eater. You've seen me eat. So taking like intentionally slowing down, being intentional with my eating, which seems really weird because it's something we all know how to do, but slowing down intentionally and like recognizing when I've reached that point, which kind of brings us back to what we talked about last week, which can help us avoid this overeating, thickening crisis, which is setting that intention. Setting the intention early before you even get to the holiday and saying, this is what I want, whether it's to eat healthy, whether it's to let yourself not eat healthy for that day, whether it's to slow down your intake of food. So you can be more aware of how full you are. So yeah, our recommendation, slow down, set an intention, and try to follow those throughout the holiday.
Yeah, I think that's great. So I want to talk about probably one of the most common holiday landmines, and this is alcohol consumption. And I think it's such a unique landmine because people drink whether they are happy or sad. So like this is the pinnacle of drinking season because there's a lot of feelings going around and a lot of people are happy during the holidays. There's a lot to celebrate. There's a lot of getting together and those kinds of things. But a lot of people also feel down. And so this is a landmine that people just gravitate towards no matter how they're feeling. And so, Thanksgiving Eve, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, is traditionally one of the busiest nights of the bar.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Like bartenders prep for it. There's like a handful of really busy nights and that is one of them. And it's because people are back in town from, all over the country. They're college age drinkers are now back at home. Yep. People who like friends that you might not see during the actual day of Thanksgiving, but you still want to connect with while you're back home. So it tends to be really, really busy at a bar. And again, it's one of those things that you do no matter how you're feeling. You celebrate, you drink, and if you are down in the dumps, you drink.
Yeah.
So I think what I would say for avoiding this holiday landmine, because actually alcohol consumption is going to circle back around to the next one that you're going to talk about. I'm going to interject in there because it has a way of escalating certain situations, especially when you're dealing with your family. So if your intention is to indulge and have a drink or two, what I would say is a good way to approach that is like, okay, I don't want to drink too quickly. You know me. I drink incredibly fast.
You can't put anything in front of her.
We are currently having tea Amber and I started at the exact same time. I am done. My mug. I'm just holding it as like a prop right now. So I don't move my hands too much.
And knock into your microphone.
And knock into my microphone. So to not drink too quickly, this is a trick my father-in-law does, is he picks a beverage that he doesn't necessarily like enjoy the most. So something with a really strong flavor, such as like a scotch with like a really peaty flavor, something that's not meant to be drank very quickly, something you have to sip on. Because then it always looks like he's got a drink in his hand when he's at a holiday party and he's not drinking too quickly, and he can socialize and he can feel like he's a part of the group, but again, be mindful of how much he's consuming. I take a different approach when I drink, again, because I drink very quickly. I will allow myself to have like one drink that I really enjoy. That's like, what's this going to be? But then my second drink will usually be something like a mocktail or something that I don't enjoy if I know I'm going to be having two. Because some of the mocktails out there right now are so good. Like whole bars are devoted to mocktails now because they have seen just like the rise in people with the non-alcoholic beers and the non-alcoholic spirits. Like they want to be able to be in that setting and socialize, but not necessarily put their, health and safety at risk. Don't want to drive drunk and all of those kinds of things. So mocktails, there's some really delicious ones out there now, and I highly recommend them. So we will circle back around to alcohol consumption because I think it is a landmine. It's not a landmine for everybody, but I will say that a large part of the population will be consuming alcohol this Thanksgiving and or Christmas. So just, be mindful of what you're doing. And make good choices around alcohol. Amber's laughing because she was like, you have to take that one because I don't think there's anything wrong with alcohol. Like I can't talk about this one.
I can't say bad things about alcohol. I think my exact words were booze it up, baby.
Yeah. I think
it's the holidays. Everything in moderation.
But not heroin.
Or cocaine. Maybe like.
Yeah. We're smart. We know.
Yeah. We know you know too. Or you should, I guess. I don't know. Do what you want. Just don't hurt anybody. Okay. Which is kind of my attitude for this next topic, which is dealing with difficult family. Do what you want. Just leave me alone. No, I love my family. That's not fair. Okay. So the holidays can be really tough around family, right? Because you might have unresolved issues or trauma that have a way of cropping back up during the holidays. Even if you feel like you've really pushed that down and repressed it.
That's a whole nother episode, Amber.
Right. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. No. So why does this happen? Because you're all put together in this same place. It could be a small place, depending on where you are gathering. But you're all coming together with all these added stressors of the holidays. And now you're all here being stressed out together.
And then add in alcohol.
This can lead to like that powder keg landmine scenario, right? That shit show that nobody wants. But somebody's family always has during the holidays. So yeah, that's a whole other episode. But one thing you can do, or some things that you can do, rather than getting caught up in that cycle of escalation. It's just tea in my mug. I don't know what the problem is.
Well, is that true? I mean, we just talked about how she likes the booze. Just saying.
You watched me pour it.
Hot toddy. Hot toddy.
I do love a hot toddy this time of year.
This episode's going to be #hot toddy.
Okay, so we're de-escalating. So try to avoid, words that are hurtful, right? That are ego-driven or violent. I like that. Words like always, never right or wrong during conflicts with your family, because those just tend to escalate because they're very definitive.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
And,
I feel like if somebody's like, you always do this, your immediate reaction is to be like,
no,
well, not always. Like, I can name a half a dozen times in a similar scenario I didn't do X. Right. And then you become defensive because you're trying to explain yourself. Yeah.
So, obviously you don't want to just like, well, I don't know, maybe you do just want to stop talking to them. That is one solution. Just walk away.
Oh yes, dismissive.
I mean, you get those people where that is the only option because you're not getting through to them. So beyond that, communication is key. Similar to what we just said with the keywords, finger pointing, blaming, bullying, judging, name calling, political rhetoric, we can circle back to that one, and being defensive are very clear signs of violent and aggressive communication. That's not how you want to talk to your family. Well, it might be how you want to talk to your family,
but it's probably not
in
going
this
to,
setting.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be a great way to spread the holiday cheer.
Yeah,
shall we say?
In this setting, you probably want to avoid that.
Yeah,
so that we don't escalate into that shit show arena. If you find yourself getting into this cycle, or on the sidelines watching this happen,
that's almost like the worst place to be. I feel I get so awkward when I'm on like the sideline of like conflict happening, and I never know, like, should I step in even though I know how to like do that effectively because it was my job for a while, or do I just let it like play out? Sometimes my approach is, not my shark. It's like, I don't want to get bitten by that. Like that's, you all are adults. You got to figure out how to deal with each other.
Not your monkeys, not your circus.
Yep.
Yeah. So in that case, it can be nice to just kind of take a step back. Just like, be like, okay, we're not getting anywhere. Let's just like take a break from this conversation and just walk away. Grab yourself a drink. Go grab some mac and cheese. I don't know. Do what you need to do. Feel better. And then, if you want to circle back to the conversation calmly, do so. Or just move on to a new topic. I know at my mom's house, there's a very strict rule that we do not talk about politics. Ever. It's not just the holidays. There are some differing views, and we just don't touch it, which I get. So, yeah, that is also one thing. You could just say, I'm not engaging in any kind of X topic of conversation because I know I get really heated about certain topics. So I try not to bring them up if I don't want to have to deal with getting into that cycle.
Yeah. Oh, setting boundaries. I like it. That's a whole nother topic as well.
Fair. Yeah.
So this is kind of a unique, I wouldn't say it's a unique landmine. I think it is one that is an undercurrent that isn't necessarily talked about a lot when we think about like the holidays and stressors and that kind of stuff. But I think, again, it's always there, and it's something that plays a big part. And that is the holiday expectation. And what I mean by that is, do you ever feel like you're performing during the holidays? Like,
yes.
It's the holidays, so you have to be happy. Like, you're not allowed to feel any other emotion. And it's like, it's only allowed to be happy, which is such a weird thing because, like, we're complex humans and we have a lot of different emotions. But during this time, the 6-week time frame, you're not allowed to express any other one besides this one.
Yes. Love and happiness.
Yeah, that's all it's supposed to be. So I think it's really interesting. A survey from like back in 2015, I think 50% of the people like polled felt major holiday related stress, but also the expectation to be happy.
Yep.
And I think it's gotten worse. So like, right.
Yeah.
You can see like old movies. One of my favorite things is like Miracle on 34th Street.
Yep.
And so like characters in the movie at the time are not necessarily happy. And you'll even see it in more recent movies. The Santa Claus, for example, like not necessarily the happiest around the holidays. There's a lot of still like your normal everyday life is still coming into effect, you know, divorce, shuffle, kids, who's spending time with, you know, so that expectation to be happy all the time can really weigh on you. And, you know, whether you're shopping or family needs, or you're just seeing everything on Instagram, like, you know.
Yeah. The house is nowhere near as pretty as the Instagram photos.
Yeah, right? And then, like, your full calendar of events, like, just being on the go the entire time. It's just that undercurrent, like I said, and it can be incredibly stressful. So my tip for that is take time for yourself. Find something that you do enjoy about the holiday.
Yeah.
And lean into that. Like, maybe that's a cup of cocoa. Like, you're like, I just want to sip on this. Maybe it's driving around by yourself, looking at decorations and not taking the kids and not Instagramming it. And like,
just enjoying the moment. Just
enjoying the moment. Maybe that's going and like window shopping and not feeling the pressure to buy things. I had a conversation actually earlier today, and one of the things that they enjoy doing is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, so Shop Small Saturday. It's not even the shopping aspect that this person enjoys. What they enjoy is the coffee and the lunch out, and that they have a tradition of doing it with this one friend that they have been doing it for the last, 14 years since the kids were small. But it has evolved from going Christmas shopping to now it's time we spend together and enjoying the holiday, and shopping is secondary to it, which I thought was really cool.
That.
Like, it's not a whole ton of pressure to be like, let's go shopping.
I want that to be our new Saturday Thanksgiving tradition. That sounds lovely.
Except we don't like people.
No, but we like coffee and food and small businesses.
We do like small businesses, yes.
Hashtag small business.
Hashtag small business.
Hashtag support us.
Hashtag Shieldman. I love how we've gotten into the hashtags on this one. We should find the... do you remember when Justin Timberlake was on SNL and he did the hashtags with Jimmy Fallon? Jessica Biel like made him a plate of cookies or something, and he was like, hashtag cookies. I'll find it.
No.
We'll put it in the show.
But notes. I do have a reel saved that does have to do with hashtags.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Anyways.
Going back to holiday expectations. Don't try to find something that you enjoy and that is something that you can really lean into, and not just the commercialization or the stress of it all. Just something that you find, and it, who knows, it might be watching horror movies during Halloween or during Christmas. I don't know what your weird thing is, but like, find it and make yourself happy. And don't feel the need to meet every holiday expectation. Yeah,
exactly. Because trying to do that leads to our next topic. Funny how that works. It is such a genius. She writes all of our notes. BT dubs. Okay, so the last landmine that we wanted to touch on is mental health. All these stressors that we've talked about and that we've been talking about and that we will talk about, they can lead to mental health degradation or even crisis during the holidays. Studies have shown that this cold, dark weather can negatively impact our serotonin production, stifle creativity, and affect your memory. And that is now what I'm going to blame for the lack of creativity I've been feeling. I know the cause.
You're welcome.
That's not fair. It's been happening for a while. It's not the weather. Anyways, so this is real, right? We know that this seasonal affect disorder is real and it requires treatment. If your winter blues, quote unquote, are lasting longer than 2 weeks, or if you're experiencing a serious depressive episode every winter, speak to your doctor. We're not doctors. We can't tell you that's what it is.
Yeah, but you can talk to somebody who has hopefully some experience and can at least lead you in the right direction. Yeah. Especially if you've noticed a pattern.
Yeah. So, take stock if you're feeling this way. And, if it does feel like a pattern, go talk to your doctor. They can help you. Because it is a real thing, and you can get treatment for it and feel better, which is great. We want you all to feel good. If you aren't sure how serious to take these feelings, these quote unquote winter blues, depressive episodes, and you don't quite feel like you want to go to your doctor, because we know that can be expensive because healthcare, and that's a whole other topic. You can always call the National Alliance on Mental Health hotline for free and get some confidential advice. They can help you determine what the severity of what you're feeling is.
Yeah.
Or at least help you talk through what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And help you decide if you need to go see a doctor. That number is 1-800-950-6264. And we will put that in the show notes as well.
Yes. Yeah. So the fact is, whether we like it or not, everyone feels some sort of holiday stress. I think it's just a part of the season. And I think it's been a part of the season probably for a very long time. Probably going back, you can see it in Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol. So it's not new. So I think that's an important thing to remember, is that there's a lot of ways we could pick and blame, oh, this is holiday stress, it's because of Instagram. It's no, I think it's morphed and done new things, but I think it's always been around because for most of the reasons that we have outlined here, and they're not going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, it's important to remember that, emotions like love, and happiness, which we're told we need to feel around the holidays, are often also accompanied by the adverse of that, of feelings of stress and fatigue and irritability and sadness. So, without those, you need all your feelings. And it's okay that you have them, is really what this is about. Your feelings are valid, whatever they might be, and the holidays don't change how you feel. You just, have more of them. So if you have anything you'd like to share with us, please do so. You can DM us, you can write us an email, do all those things. We'd love to hear from you around this. If there was a topic that you thought we should have covered in the holiday stressors and didn't, please let us know. And don't forget to rate us on your favorite streaming service, because we are now on lots of them. We have Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Instagram. You can find us on Instagram. Yeah. You can't find the whole episode on Instagram, but you'll find cool things on Instagram. Yeah. We're even on TikTok. We even have a Facebook. You can find us. So go do that and interact with us, because we're cool and we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Shield Maiden TC, or on Facebook at SMTCRVA.
That's us. And this is Holiday Stressors. And this episode is going to air right before Thanksgiving. Yeah. So
Thanksgiving Eve.
Yeah, Thanksgiving Eve.
Bar day.
Yeah, the bar day. So wherever you are, hopefully you're not feeling one of these stressors, but I am betting you are. So listen to the whole episode. Hopefully you've gotten to this point. And
if you've gotten to this point,
you've listened to the whole episode. But definitely check the show notes, because there's some helpful things in there.
Yeah. And have a good holiday.
Happy Thanksgiving.